I developed a super simple method to trim my own hair at home and would like to share the uncut real-time version. You can follow along with me and we can trim our hair together if you'd like. This method does work best with longer hair. As you can see, my hair is very long and in desperate need for a trim. Step 1 is to take a shower and wash your hair to ensure it's completely wet before we start the haircut. You'll need a pair of scissors, wide tooth comb, regular comb, butterfly clip or claw clip, and brush. Once you have all of these hair accessories, we can begin with the cut. First, towel dry your hair a bit so it's not dripping wet. Part your hair down the center and comb all of the knots out. A wider tooth comb actually works better for this and is much less damaging to your hair. The center part is not that important in this first portion, but you'll see how it's sort of a consistent ask throughout each step. Once your hair is knot free, divide out a small section of your hair at the base of your scalp and wrap the remaining portion of the hair into a bun on the top of your head, securing it with a claw clip. Definitely make sure that top bun is secure so no hair falls down and gets in the way of our cut. I'm just gonna keep turning around to show you what's going on, but you definitely don't need to do this. Next, divide the bottom section in half perfectly down the center of your head, creating that middle part again, and then bring both sections to the front. Comb through each section, and here's where you're gonna wanna decide how much you wanna cut off. These two little sections will act as sort of a base for your whole cut, kind of like a guide that you'll refer back to. My hair is so long here, so I end up taking quite a bit off, but take your time here and just know that you can take more off, but you can't put it back on. So I suggest starting conservatively. I believe I end up taking off, 3 or 4 inches. Boop, and off she goes, never to be back again. Goodbye, hair. Just a warning, it is kind of addicting when you start to cut your hair. You are gonna wanna cut more, but don't do that. Once you've cut off the desired amount, bring both sections of hair to the center and pull them together, comb through the pieces, line them up, and give a little trim so they are both at the exact same length. This is just to ensure that one side is not longer than the other. Oh, and this is reminding me that it's probably best to use hair cutting scissors, like real hair shears. These are literally just regular scissors. I've never had a problem using these, but people in the comment section said that they could give you split ends. They did not give me split ends. And of course, be careful not to get carried away. As you can see, I'm probably taking off more and more and more, trying to make these even. It's very easy to do that. Okay, once you are happy with your first 2 guide sections, you're gonna wanna take down another section from your top bun. It feels like this is in slow motion because I'm trying not to mix the top half of my hair with this new section that I'm pulling down. And again, wrap the top section back up securely into a claw clip. I feel like nothing can be done very gracefully when you have this length of hair, so bear with me. Once the bun is secure with the claw clip, now you're going to want to comb out the bottom portion of your hair again, blending the guide sections into the new sections that you created. Divide your hair perfectly in the center again with a center part and pull each of the 2 sections to the front. Again, I'm just turning around so you can see. No need to turn around. Comb through the front 2 sections and look for that guide piece that you created. Mine just so happens to be at the very end of my tank top. How perfect. And so these guide pieces are going to show you where you need to cut the new section of your hair. You can cut the new sections however you please. I just kind of grab it where the guide piece is and cut it right off. And just to note, the thicker the section you pull down, the less accurate the cut will be. If you do this little by little, it's probably easier to get a more even cut at the bottom. My hair is just so long at this point that I don't mind taking a little bit more off than where I started, so you are welcome to do this more meticulously. Once you're happy with the one side, move on to the next side and do the same thing. Find your guide piece and start trimming from there. Don't forget to recomb your sections just to ensure that no pieces curled up or anything like that. You just want to make sure that they are even, and you can re-wet them if need be because mine are starting to dry at this point. Pull your two sections to the front and trim them together to ensure that each side is the same length. Once you are happy with the evenness and they are the same length, you are going to take another section down from your top bun and do it all over again. You are going to continue this process section by section until you have no more top bun. Divide out another section of your hair and put the rest of your hair back up into a bun. I'm not speeding up this video at all because I have a bunch of different versions of this haircut on YouTube that are very sped up, so you can go to those videos if you just want to get an overall idea of the haircut, but this is made so you can cut along with me. I just had a lot of commenters tell me that the other versions were way too quick and they wanted a slowed down version, so this is that version, and I will put the other versions in the description. Okay, so we're dividing this new section perfectly in half. Well, it's not perfect, but in the middle of your head, your center part. Bring both sections to the front, comb through each side, and now you can very easily see where you need to cut the new section of your hair. Snip, 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 snip. Comb through the other side and cut in the same way. The more you do this, the easier it gets too. This entire DIY haircut takes me about 20 or so minutes, and then with full blow dry and styling, it's only about a half an hour. Okay, so it's time to bring these two sections together so that you can trim and make sure both sides are even. It gets a little bit harder the thicker these sections get, but I still think this is the easiest way to make sure your haircut is not lopsided. As I'm working with more and more of my hair that is divided out, I do take my time with this part just to make sure everything is even. time to take down another section. There are only 2 more sections left with my hair. Obviously, the thicker your hair is, the longer this is going to take. And because the top of my hair has long layers and face framing layers in it, it actually is quicker to trim these final sections. Also, I think the hair on top of my head and towards the front of my head is much thinner than it is in the back. Secure that final section of hair into a top bun with a claw clip on top of your head. Divide your hair down the center of your head, creating that middle part again in the back of your head, and bring both sections toward the front. Comb through each section to make sure any wavy bits become straight again. And remember, you can always re-wet your hair if you need to. I don't know if you can see how much thinner these last sections are because either they were a part of a long layer or my hair is just thinner. I don't know. So far, I'm basically just making the hair all one length. There's no layers being put in, so I guess I'm just evening out my old haircut. Trim up each side, and then you're gonna pull both sides together to the front again to make sure they are even on both sides. You know the drill by now. I feel like my hair is already looking thicker and healthier after just trimming all of those scraggly ends off, and I hope yours does too. And why I started doing this, basically during COVID, I couldn't go and get my hair cut, and I had given birth during COVID, and my hair was so long. It got ridiculously long. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I've gotten my hair cut obviously my whole life, and all I do is watch other people get their hair cut when I get my hair cut. So I had an idea of how to do it. The hairdresser would pin up my hair and cut portion by portion out of the top bun. And I was like, I can do that myself, but by just pulling it in front so I could see what I'm doing. So this concept just made the most sense to me, and it came out very good. So I just kept doing it. I've done this haircut to myself about 6 or 7 times, and I feel it's a really easy way to trim your hair if you have longer hair. Obviously, I've never tried it with shorter hair. I think your hair needs to be below your shoulders to do this cut. And you'll see as you start pulling your hair together, the outer pieces are a little bit longer than the inner pieces. Just trim those off as well. Finally, we are going to cut the remaining section of my hair, so hopefully you can do the same. Remove the claw clip completely. We do not need that anymore, and part your hair down the center. Re-wet your hair if need be, if it's gotten too dry. Comb through it again, making sure all of the knots are out and the wavy bits are straight again, just to ensure you get an even cut. Trim off those long pieces. As you can see, there's barely any pieces there because I had long layers in my hair as well as front angles. So this is kind of an easy trim. This side literally has like 3 straggly pieces that I needed to snip off. Once everything is looking even, you could actually stop your trim here if you're happy with it. Basically, when you push your hair to the back of your head, you're gonna get a nice like U-ish shape with more of just like a blunt straight across feel in the front. But I like to have long layers and angles, and this is how I do a long layer. I take the top section of my hair and pull it straight up, basically from the point of my eyebrow to where my head starts to curve back is the section I pull above my head, and then I comb it straight up, which is hard to do because my hair is so long. You'll see me struggling here. It is really hard to do, and if you have a partner that can help you out, that's all the better, because they could help you pull it straight up and just kind of cut a couple inches off of this section, but you'll see how I do it. My hair has a little bit of body and a wave to it, so that's why I do this long layer and the angles in front. If your hair is poker straight, you might not want to do this step, because then it would be very easy to see any sort of mistakes. I'm trying to take my time here because I am clearly not able to get a nice grip on this top layer. Here is where I decide I'm just going to take that bottom portion off that looks kind of dry and blonde, because frankly, I should have just asked for help on this part, but I want to show you how it really went down, and this is how it really went down. See, I'm just going to cut it. Goodbye. I'd like to also give a shout out to my roots in this video. That is also another thing that I was not able to get done during COVID, so they would grow out, and that's something I actually couldn't do on my own, was highlights, just cutting. If someone has any at-home highlight tricks for me, I would love if you shared them, because that is just something I couldn't do. I tried it, it didn't work. Okay, that is the best I did with that top layer, and now I'm gonna part my hair down the center again and work on the front angles. I am going to divide the front half of my hair out from the front of my ear forward and push the rest of my hair back. So I'm only going to be angling the hair from the front of my ear forward, so I don't cut into that back portion. And to make sure I don't cut into that back portion, I'm just going to clip it with the claw clip and comb through those front sections. So as you can see, I already have angles in place, so I'm just going to essentially trim them. On my hair, it's kind of very clear what needs to be trimmed off because it's a bit blonder and looks dried out. So I just kind of cut those sections off. And I just kind of eyeball this portion. I angle it up from the bottom to the top and just make sure nothing is flat across. It's all angled down from my chin outward. Well, not really my chin, a few inches down from my chin outward. I can honestly say I've tried every which way on how to do these front angled layers, and the best way for me to do it is just to eyeball it and do it kind of naturally like the way my hair falls, because any tricks didn't work for me. You know what I'm talking about, like when you twist the hair and then just cut the bottom, or when you pull it across your face and angle it. Those all never worked out for me, so this is how I do it. I just kind of eyeball it. Once you feel like you're in a good place with your front angles, take that claw clip out and bring your hair forward and see what you're working with. Here is where you can cut any stray hairs that look wonky if you want. If you're happy with it, don't do that, because it's easy to get carried away by cutting more and more off. But I think I just found a couple stray hairs that I wanted to get here. Now it is time to dry and style. Finally, you can see the fruits of your labor. If you use a heat protectant, now is the time to put that into your hair. I have to be honest with you, I rarely use a heat protectant because I don't put too much heat on my hair, but I'm trying to set a good example for you guys. So here I am using the Kerastase heat protectant that I rarely use. Next up, it's time to blow dry your hair. I actually flip my hair upside down and use my fingers to blow dry my hair. It takes about 5 minutes. This is sped up. And then once my hair is almost completely dry, I then switch to a brush and brush my hair as I blow dry. Ugh, those roots are killing me, but I guess it's like kind of an ombre situation. Once my hair is completely dry, I actually part it down the middle and comb through it before I use my old school curling brush. It is the Conair Instant Heat Curling Iron Brush, and I do not leave home without it. This is my styling must-have. I just go through each section of my hair and curl all the pieces under so it doesn't look so jagged. And that is the last step. This is the final product of my DIY haircut. I really hope you enjoyed it and are able to do the same at home and are very happy with the results. I will link the shorter versions of this video below, as well as all of the products I use in my hair. Thank you so much for watching.